Hi guys! Did you know making your own bread can save around $80 per year? Imagine what if you could save if you make your own food from scratch.
Today we're gonna show you how to make your own Japanese bread at home, as well as tell you some benefits of why you should maybe consider making all your food from scratch.
Let's go!
Okay, so there's some pros and cons to consider when you're gonna be making your own stuff from scratch. So in the case of bread, when you make it yourself, there's no preservatives, unlike what you buy at the grocery store. And you can make your own unique recipes. So like one day or like 1 week you can make Japanese bread, and then the other week you can make American oat bread or something.
But the con is you still need to take 2 hours to make one big loaf. And they not gonna stay too long.
They expire in like 4 days.
Yes. You probably wonder what do you need for Japanese bread? Boom! This is basically what we need for my recipe. And I usually make milk bread, but you can use other liquid such as almond milk or oat milk. That's also really tasty. So let's get started. So now I'm gonna introduce what you need for bread making. So this is bread, square bread pan. You make your dough and then put it in there. This is stand mixer. It is really helpful if you have it. But if you don't, you can get something like this. But recently I've been using stand mixer because it's speeding up your process, and if you cook a lot, this is really valuable investment. Price range is starting from $300 to $800. What I have is around $300 to $400, and it belongs to my wife's grandparents, bought in 2004 and still usable in 2021. But in case you don't have this guy, I'm gonna also show you how to hand kneading. This thing you can get it on Amazon for $20, and the bread pan is also around $20. First, I'm going to show you stand mixer part. I'm going to start with flour. I recommend you to use bread flour which protein content is at least higher than 12%, and put the 250 gram of flour in it. If you put it too much, simply remove with your spoon. Now use your spoon to divide your flour into 2 sections. Put the 4 to 5 gram of salt into section 1, and then put the 3 gram of dry yeast to section 2. Also, 40 gram of sugar into section 2. If you want to use honey instead of sugar, that also works. That's my dose ratio. Now let's move on to liquid. In this video, I'm doing 100 gram of water, 110 gram of milk. But keep this in mind that always 210 in total, but no more than 100 gram of water. Now you need to microwave this liquid to around human body temperature. My microwave is 1100 watts, so it only takes 30 seconds. But if you have lower watts microwave, you should microwave a little longer. Once the liquid becomes right temperature, pour them into dough and start mixer. When you're mixing, keep the speed in low speed, and 20 to 30 minutes they're gonna start to not stick on the ball. At that time, you need to use your spatula to scrape it off from your bowl. Once your dough is not sticking anymore, you should put 20 gram of butter. If you cut the butter really square, it's gonna be 20 grams. Once you put the butter, it's gonna get sticky again, but if you keep mixing, it's gonna stop sticking on the bowl. Now it's time to fermentation. You cover it to avoid the dough to dry and wait for 40 minutes to 1 hour. If it's not too cold, room temperature is fine. Now I'm going to show you hand kneading part. The recipe ratio is basically similar to stand mixer one. How to do? You just spread all the ingredients on top of the sheet and then mix it together. When you start kneading, it's going to get really messy. But around 30 to 40 minutes, dough will form together. I highly not recommend you to use kneading sheet on textured table. Once the dough is not sticky anymore, add 20 grams of butter and start to kneading again. Your dough will become sticky again. But if you keep kneading around 20 minutes, it's gonna form together. Once everything formed, it's time to let the yeast grow, aka fermentation. When you raise your dough, don't let it dry, so use some plastic wrap to cover it. After you're done with growing, simply punch it to let the air come out. And then divide it in two. Once you divide it in two, just roll out and then roll into this shape. Simply apply it to another dough too. Now put both dough into your bread pan, like this. From here, you need to do is another fermentation. Once again, use plastic wrap to make sure it's not gonna dry. During the waiting time, set your oven to 360 Fahrenheit. Once the dough filled 80% of the box, it's time to bake it. So the baking part has two sections. The first part is 360 Fahrenheit for 16 minutes. After 16 minutes, lower your oven to 320 Fahrenheit. Add 15 minutes more. Once it's done, take it out from bread pan immediately and then let the bread to dry out at least 1 hour. Then you can cut it to your desired size. I recently really like thick slice, so I tend to cut my toast really thick. Please let me know how you like this recipe. What is your favorite way to eat? By the way, I like to eat my toast with Nutella and peanut butter. If you like this video, please hit that like button. And also please do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. See you in next video. Peace out.